welcome back to another episode of I'll Allow It Nevada, your go-to podcast for insightful glimpses into the Nevada judiciary. I'm your host, Seth Easley, representing the Supreme Court of Nevada Administrative Office of the Courts. Today we're talking about a creative and community-driven program that brings the courtroom to the classroom, Kids Court. Kids Court is a hands-on educational experience that helps students better understand the justice system and the role of the courts. Joining me to discuss this impactful program is Judge Danielle Johnson of the Esmerelda Township Justice Court. Judge Johnson developed this program that gives young people an opportunity to see how justice works in practice and to connect directly with those who serve in the system. It's a powerful example of how education and community outreach can build understanding and trust in the judiciary. Judge Johnson, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Seth.
All right, so for starters, to kick off the conversation, what is Kids Court?
So Kids Court is a program where the 6th through 8th grade kids learn about the criminal justice system. I actually got the idea from Judge Bishop in White Pine County. Mm-hmm. He does Kids Court. Mine's just more in depth than his.
Okay. So how about, can we get a quick overview of the program?
So starting after Christmas break, I go to the school once a week and we learn about all things criminal justice. We usually start with the different branches of government, then each court and what their jurisdiction is, and then we go into stuff that they really want to know about. I usually have a deputy from our sheriff's office, the Nevada State Police, and the district attorney and our public defender come to the school and tell the children about their roles in the system. So each of them comes on a different week.
Okay. So before we start getting into like the nitty gritty, what inspired you to create Kids Court?
So when my son was in the 6th grade, which was the year after I got appointed, everyone in this class kept telling him, "Oh, your mom's the judge, so now she can come and arrest my parents." Yeah. And he used to come home from school and tell me about it. And I was like, we need to change that because these children don't understand how the system works. Mm-hmm. And another reason was I wanted these kids to know that there are people in the system that are, and we're not the bad guys and that they can trust us. Right.
That's a fundamental misunderstanding. That's
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and my thought was always if our 6th through 8th grade kids believe that, where are they getting it from? Right. So my thought was, let's teach them the truth and not what everyone believes.
Right. So you spend one day a week teaching students about the criminal justice system, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. So how do you make those topics engaging for young people?
I think that because when we do this, we encourage the students to engage. We challenge them to come up with questions that require us to actually think about it. It really does. It doesn't require anything special. I think the topic alone is engaging enough for them to be interested and passionate about learning what the system does and how it works.
That's true. I think that makes great sense. I mean, especially when they realize they don't really understand it.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So if I was that age and the judge came into my classroom, I would already kind of be in awe. So it's pretty incredible that you have that kind of FaceTime and relationship with your community.
Yeah. And so the previous judge, Judge Colvin, when she was the justice of the peace here, she actually lived right down the road from me, like my whole life. So I always looked up to her. So what I thought when I first started this was if I thought that of wanting Judge Colvin, I can have a very big impact on our students because of my position. So they all know me outside of my position anyways. So bringing what I do to them, I think it's made a huge difference in our communities.
Right. And I know it's a rural area, so it's a very tight-knit community, I imagine.
It is.
Okay. So after 6 months of preparation, the students put on a mock jury trial at the courthouse. Can you describe kind of what that day is like for them?
So the day is chaos. The kids are full of excitement and they take their roles so seriously. They each get a role and we had to start drawing their roles from a hat. So they're randomly assigned. I always try to make sure that the 8th graders, unless they've previously done so, get to be the judge. The kids just love it. The kids all have a script, so no one goes AWOL. They each know their roles, and the jury actually has to take notes and decide whether or not the defendant committed the crimes that the state alleged that the defendant committed beyond a reasonable doubt. So they get all of the details. Like, at first, we were doing it where they had the script, so they knew what was coming. And this last year, we decided, no, they're not going to get a script. I want them to listen and be engaged and actually decide whether or not the fake defendant is guilty. It was very, very cool.
That is cool. So you mentioned that now you have to kind of randomly decide who gets what role. I'm imagining it's because there were some popular roles. Well, who were some of the more popular ones? So
everybody wants to be the judge.
Okay,
always.
That makes sense.
And everybody wants to be the bad guy. Every time I have students fighting over who the bad guy is. So what I do, because I don't like making a student be the bad guy. So I actually have a parent always volunteer to be the bad guy so that the kids, I don't want anybody bullied because they were the bad guy. So we started having the parents do it. So and there's certain kids that want to do certain things. Like last year, I had students arguing over who was going to be the prosecutor and who was going to be the defense attorney. So it's so cool to watch the kids want to do it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's cool to hear you say that, because I was just thinking back when I was in 6th to 8th grade. If you said, would you want to be the prosecutor or the defense attorney? I'm like, what's the difference?
Yep, exactly. And the cool thing is that they understand it. Yeah. So they know, like they know what each role is. And this year I'm going to make them, I'm going to start debating, because we have and I think it's a national problem. We have kids that don't know how to articulate their thoughts. So they argue and not ever get their point across. So our kids really like when I make them decide something, like between good and bad. What is your stance on it? So this year we're gonna throw a little debate in the middle of it, so that I'm hoping that I can get them to be able to debate without arguing and get their point across.
That's a very cool component. You're planning on integrating that. Well, you're just covering all the bases for these young people's development. Nice. Okay, so what's one of your favorite moments or most memorable reactions you've seen from a student participating in Kids Court?
So this is going to be a hard one for me to answer. Okay. So one of my favorite memories, when the kids picked up on my Hey Dudes. So I wear Hey Dudes every day on the bench. I'm always in Hey Dudes. So all of the kids showed up in Hey Dudes for their mock trial. It was so cool. And then we have a kid that has severe autism, and I made him the bailiff of the court. To see his face is something that I will never forget. He was so excited to be included in a role that was so very important. And his mom actually came up to me. I still have some dealings with him, but his mom came up to me after I think it was the next year. And she's like, I don't know what you did to get him to accept you, but he loves you. And that's always something that that'll forever be a face that is burned into my memory. It was very cool.
That is so nice. It's cool that the Hey Dudes thing, and it just shows how much of a connection you're building with your community, and that it's something that's going to stick with them for the rest of their life. Like this was the relationship I had with the judge when I was growing up, and it's totally is going to change their perspective and their view of the courts and the judiciary. That is so cool.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this episode of I'll Allow It Nevada. We're always striving to bring you valuable insights and education, not just for judicial officers, but for anyone interested in the Nevada judiciary. If you find our content helpful or intriguing, please share your experience with your friends, family, and colleagues. Your support helps us reach a broader audience and ensures that more people can benefit from our discussions. Thank you for listening and supporting I'll Allow It Nevada. So can you expand a little bit on why you think it's important for kids to learn about the justice system at such an early age?
I think it's important for the kids in my county to know that they do not have to be a statistic. The children of addicts have a higher likelihood of becoming addicted themselves. 1 in 4 children have addicted parents. I want these children to be able to see that having parents that were addicts does not mean that you have to follow in their footsteps, which is exactly what I've done. They know that. Mm-hmm. I tell them that because it's so important, and I want them to know that not everybody grows up great and can turn out to be whatever they want to be.
Mm-hmm. Trying to break the cycle.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so kind of going into that a little bit more, have you noticed any changes in how students view judges and lawyers or law enforcement after going through the program?
I've noticed that students are more open to speaking to people. Teaching them that the system is full of people who are trustable has made them more willing to speak out if something's not right.
That makes sense. And because, I mean, not unique to any specific area, but everyone growing up kind of, I don't know, they kind of just have this view of the justice system. It's like they're kind of out there to get you you're building that human connection between the judiciary, the justice system, and the people they serve. It's about helping people, really.
Correct.
So maybe this is a little bit redundant, but in what ways do you think programs like Kids Court help strengthen trust and understanding between courts and the communities they serve?
So it's the running joke here in Esmeralda County. If you don't understand how the system works, talk to any 6th through 8th grader from the last 7 years. I think that by children understanding the system and all of the people in the system, the people that I've taken to speak with me have been humanized. Mm-hmm. These students see us on the street and they aren't scared to talk to us. What I've noticed over the last years, these students go home and talk to their families about what they learned, which is spreading information that's factual and not based on someone's experience, which in my belief strengthens the trust and understanding between the courts and the community.
Absolutely. That's something we haven't even talked about yet. I mean, if kids' parents are misinformed and kids go home and share everything they've learned and about their experiences, that can have, that's a ripple effect that goes throughout the entire community.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've noticed, I've had parents come and talk to me about, or text me and say, hey, I don't know what you did with my child this year, but she has grown and she's more confident. And, she told me about all of the things that you do and about what the prosecutor does. And I think that in and of itself is so huge, especially in the rurals.
Absolutely. Okay. So logistically speaking, or just broadly, I'm curious, has there been any challenges in keeping this program going year after year, especially in a rural area like Esmeralda County?
There have been challenges. It's difficult to ensure that I'm able to go to the school once a week.
Right.
I'm the only justice of the peace here, and sometimes it's extremely hard to get everything done. I will continue to do it because the kids need Kids Court.
Yeah, you are the only, being the only judicial officer, that makes sense. And you're once a week. It sounds, it's a lot, actually.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It's, and I always tell everybody, I don't handle juvenile court because I have my end of the school. I have my end of the kids from a different perspective. So I couldn't imagine being a juvenile court master and doing kids court. So I'm grateful that I get to do it. But it's a lot. It's about midway. I tell my clerk, I don't know if I can keep doing this, and she's like, you've got this, we're almost there, but it's difficult sometimes.
It makes sense. And I'm sure it's very motivating to see the impact it has on your community, and you just understand the value of it and how much the kids in the community are taking away from their experiences with you in this program. So it's incredible. And it's great to see a judge investing so much time into their community beyond their role as a judge. It's really cool.
Thank you.
Do you have any plans for the future of kids court?
So I'm bringing in debate.
Right.
And I will continue to do kids court until I'm no longer the justice of the peace, or the school tells me I can't do it anymore. There's something about kids court and just knowing the impact that it's already made. Yeah, it's I hope that every child or I wish that every child in the world could understand and know what kids court is and what we do, and know that we are just, at the end of the day, we're all just people.
Right.
And they can be just people too.
Right. That going back, the debates, where are you integrating that into the program?
The younger generations have a very hard time articulating an argument. So they have a belief and they want somebody else to believe the same thing that they do. They have a hard time debating their point without arguing, without making it a fight. So my son and another kid from here, so our kids, our high school kids, are bused to Tonopah to go to Tonopah High School. And my son, apparently in government, they had debate. And my son, who he has an aide because he's handicapped. So my mom actually went to high school with him. So one day after this debate class that they had in government, she came home and she said, you should have seen Nathan, my son, and this other child debate their thoughts on something. She said, you would have been so proud because they win and they didn't get emotional. They just argue, or they debated their point and moved on. Where there were other kids that couldn't do that, got emotional and was arguing instead of debating their point. So I think debate is something that we can all learn from. And my thoughts have been, if I can help them articulate their point in the 6th or 8th grade, it'll make it easier going into high school and not being emotional and arguing instead of, trying to get your point across without bringing in emotion.
That's a very cool and interesting aspect you're integrating, because I think that's something that a lot of people, adults included, can benefit from, the ability to articulate different ideas and different thoughts without taking it to the level of arguing or fighting.
Right.
That's
right.
really cool.
And not every point, not every debate is personal, What I say, what my thoughts are, doesn't have to be offensive to you. So I think really that's what it comes down to, is making these students understand that they can have differing opinions, but they don't have to fight about it. You don't have to bully your friend because their opinion is different than yours.
So going back actually to your point, you said you wish this was something that all kids throughout the state or throughout the country could experience. On that note, if another judge or educator wanted to start a similar program, what advice would you give them?
Just do it. Most of these kids are so open to learning new things. The way I see it is, if I can keep one child from growing up and being in front of me, I've done my job. Sometimes it's inconvenient. It is. Sometimes I have so much going on that I'm like, oh man, do I really have to go do this? I do. I have to go do this because our kids deserve to know what we do and that they can also do it. And call me. If you need help, I'm here. Send me an email. Shoot me a text. I think that every court can incorporate it somehow into making it work for them. Like Judge Bishop does. He brings a class, I can't quote what class it is, to the courtroom, and they do a mock trial. Okay, it's only one day, but the students still get something out of that. So if that's all that a judge can do, that's better than nothing.
For sure. And I'm sure it's something, like you mentioned, the kids are really open to the experience and they're very eager to learn about it. I'd be willing to bet that's probably one of the students' favorite part of the week, is when you come in and expose them to what they're going to be learning about regarding the judiciary and just this is the real world and this is something that exists, and especially the mock trial. I'm sure that's really fun.
Yes. Oh, they love it. I like to bring in new people so that they get exposed to different stuff, because I mean, you can have the same cop come and talk to you. Now, the last couple of years, the deputy that has come with me has been very engaging. They love him, but hearing the same person, and I'm speaking from me talking every single day or every single week to these kids has got to be boring. I mean, there's only so much that I can talk about, because I'm the justice of the peace. So hearing from the sheriff's office and the prosecutor and our public defender and Nevada State Police, because like a local sheriff's office and highway patrol, they do completely different things. So getting the different aspects of each position and each role and how it all incorporates together, it's so big for these kids. So I guarantee any court asks most sheriff's office or deputies, if they want to come talk to the kids, they'll be in.
Right. And it's cool that, you're able to get these partners, these community members in to participate, because then it's not just you telling about them. It's like they get to see it straight from the horse's mouth. This is what I am. This is what we do. And it just building those connections and those, again, putting a human face, a human level of connection to this otherwise kind of arbitrary idea.
Yeah.
A portion of the judicial system.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking back, since 2018, how has Kids Court influenced you personally as a judge and as a community member?
So Kids Court has changed me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Having students that are passionate about something that I'm very passionate about ignites a fire in my soul. I love to teach these kids about what I do. I love that they get to know how the system works and what the individual roles are in the system. Knowing their rights and not the rights that they see on TikToks, they love what I love, and I love everything about it. I think Kids Court has made me a more compassionate judge. The kids have shown me that everyone deserves a chance. And sometimes a defendant lands in front of me, but knowing that they're still human and humans make mistakes does not mean that they can't make better choices. And maybe being in front of me will help them change their lives or not break the law. As a community member, I think the Kids Court has made the adults view what I do differently as well. The kids' mock trial is open to the public, so parents and community members can come watch, which teaches them a small portion of how the system works.
That's amazing. So before we wrap up everything on this episode, I did want to ask, what do you hope these students carry with them long after their experience with Kids Court?
I hope that when things get hard, they know that there are people who are there for them. I hope that they know that they are worth every single thing they ever imagined and that they are capable of more than they will ever know. I want them to continue to chase their dreams and hopefully one day become the justice of the peace in Esmeralda County. And at the end of the day, I hope these children know that they are loved and so very worthy.
That's beautiful. Before we finally end it, is there any last things you wish to communicate to listeners, to any members of the public who may be listening, or maybe fellow judicial officers?
Go down and check out the courts. Most courts are open to the public. Don't assume that we're all not human, because I have not met a judge that is not a human being and not willing to educate people. To my fellow judges, just do it. Just do it. You'll love it. Yeah, it's hard, but it's so worth it. It just to have the impact on the students that I've had. It's probably been 200 students in the last 7 or 8 years. It's just one knowing, just affecting one student has made it all worth it. Every single year, all of the heartache and all of the extra work that it is, it's so worth it. It's so worth it. Just to watch these kids light up and love what we love. It's very cool. It'll definitely light some fire under you.
Yeah, it sounds like apart from it being very impactful, it's also sounds like a rewarding experience.
It is. It is. I think that it's cool that I have such an impact on the kids. I have a special relationship with them because of kids court, you know. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
It is cool stuff. And Judge Johnson, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing the important work you're doing outside of your role as a judge. It's, like I said earlier, it's amazing to see the kind of investment you're putting into your community. This type of civics education is so important, and that's something that's going to stick with your community for generations. And to your point, I do think it's well worth it, and I greatly admire everything you do for your community.
Thank you for inviting me, Seth. I was really nervous about this because kids court, I'm so passionate about kids court. I didn't know if I could do it without crying, but I love it, and I'm so grateful that I get to do it. And I'm just thankful that you asked me to be on the podcast. I hope that somebody gets something out of this. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I'm sure they will. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
A heartfelt appreciation to our guest and to everyone who has tuned into this podcast. Before we wrap up, here are a couple of quick important reminders. For continuing legal education credit, be sure to complete a certificate of attendance and email it to jepodcast@nvcourts.nv.gov. If you have any questions, topic suggestions, or comments, we welcome your input. You can email us at jepodcast@nvcourts.nv.gov or submit your topic ideas to the topic suggestion form linked in the episode description. We value and look forward to hearing from our listeners. Stay tuned for more episodes of All Out Nevada. This is Seth Easley signing off. Take care, Nevada.